Well, this is going to be sort of a Vig Mignogna episode. We're not going to touch base on it. I'm going to leave that to my fellow YouTubers out there, Yellow Flash, that Umbrella Guy, Nick Rekieta Law, SG Sammy. They've been doing a fantastic job, and many others. They've been doing a fantastic job on this reporting of what's been going on as far as these accusations against Vic Mignogna, that he's lost his jobs, lost conventions. Now he's gaining traction back in again, getting those convention jobs back, as people are seeing the light of the situation, that basically it's a nothing burger at this point, because basically the way the evidence shows that, really it's a hearsay situation. And that's not good when it comes to that. It's always facts and evidence to the situation, and, there's a big lawsuit coming. There's a big lawsuit. And I've been saying, the couple episodes that I've been talking about this, I've been saying, where's Toei in this? Toei, if you're not familiar with who Toei is, Toei Animation, which is part of the Toei Corporation, is the company who owns the rights to many of the animes, such as Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, and many, many more throughout the years of anime. And basically, a lot of people have been asking, one thing about the Japanese, they don't like people messing with the stuff they make, their signature stuff. And they get very upset. They don't like this situation, especially what's been going on here in the U.S. And they've been very upset lately. But it seems that we haven't heard anything in the situation as far as this with the Vic Mignogna until last week. I think it was on Thursday's edition of Nick Rekieta and Nick Rekieta Law. And basically, Nick had mentioned that basically that Toei is not happy on this situation, and I figured they weren't. I've worked with somebody who does work with Toho, and I tell you, he always says you don't mess with that tiger, because basically they want things done the way they want it. If you start to mess with it a little bit, they're going to be very upset, and you got to prove to them that basically it's going to work out in their favor. Because even posting a video on YouTube, if you try posting a Godzilla video on YouTube, see how fast you get slammed on there. Also, look what happened to Mystery Science Theater 3000. Mystery Science Theater 3000 never release now those Godzilla episodes, which I have them on video. Actually, I recorded them originally on VHS when they were first aired on Comedy Central. But nevertheless, they could not release them or ever show them again on Shout TV, Shout Factory, or put them out on DVD or Blu-ray. In fact, they had one out and they had to pull it. They had to have the box set pulled from the stores and replace the movie that was inside of it. So, it goes to show that when it comes to the Japanese product, they're very protective of their children, as they say, their children. And the thing is that we're not going to get into Vic Mignogna. Like I said, not too much into it. What I want to talk about is this is going to be a what-if scenario. And knowing that Toei Animation is upset with Funimations, which Funimations and Sony are the same company, let's put it in this perspective. Many people have been talking about it, how mad they are, what would they do, and stuff like that. Let's put it into this perspective. Now, we know already that we've had issues at Funimations with basically the English dubs, that basically they've been changing around the scripting, and I bet Toei doesn't like that either as well. I don't like that as well when you start changing the words. Another thing is that supposedly there's a 30th anniversary out. Now, I'm not certain if Toei is doing the and I have to look this up, if they're doing the remastering of it, or is this a Funimation? It's supposed to be a 30th limited edition, anniversary edition out. Now, let me put this statement forward first. Now, some of the scenes that have been seen around has been online and on YouTube of what the newer version is supposed to be. It's in the 4:3 aspect, which that's what it's supposed to be, of the original Dragon Ball Z series. What I've been hearing and what some other YouTubers have been saying is that basically the color correction, a lot of the background imaging and stuff like that doesn't look right. You know, the faces are looking a little more weirder as far as color-wise, or how basically they're looking a little more clayish looking on there. I mean, technically, there hasn't been a good remaster of Dragon Ball Z anywhere. I mean, I have one of the editions. I think was it 2003? I think it's the 2003, which was decent. You know, it could have been better. You know, I could spend about 3 hours just diving into what all the problems that were on that disc. But nevertheless, let's continue on to this, putting this into perspective. If this is a situation where Toei wasn't in control, say like for this, the English dubs, and a couple of the other issues that's been going on in the Funimation family, and now with the Vic Mignogna situation, and what if Toei decides to drop Funimation's? I mean, this would be something big. Sony would fight tooth and nail to try to keep this, because, I mean, nonetheless, I think that would put... I mean, would it put a complete... Funimation's put them out of business? Possibly. I mean, they would lose a lot of stuff on there. The website would have to probably shut down for a bit until they figure out what's going on. But the thing that gets me, and this is where it's going to get crazy, and you guys out there, you're probably going to lose this as well. Let's think of this perspective. If Dragon Ball, One Piece, and a lot of other stuff has been pulled from this site, okay? And you say, well, maybe Crunchyroll will get it. Put in this perspective in your mind. There are at least two other players that can jump into this situation. And from what you saw on the thumbnail, yes, that's right. I'm talking about Netflix and Amazon. You have to remember right now, both these parties are building a big anime division of their online streaming, especially Netflix. Netflix just got into IG productions and several other productions together to create. They're creating a new Ghost in the Shell series. They're creating Spriggan. They just came out with the Ultraman series, which was pretty good. You know, it wasn't the greatest in the world. The animation was so-so, and I enjoyed it. I still got a couple more episodes to finish off. But to see characters from the 1960 series and two other series show up all together in one anime with and the story is pretty good. It has its faults, but this is season 1. Could you imagine if Netflix pulls over and gets the entire Dragon Ball series, and including the new stuff? That puts them in control of the whole situation. And you may ask yourself, well, they don't do any dub. I think they will find a company to assist them if they haven't built one themselves. They've already bought a film studio facility in Arizona, fully equipped. And I'll say it again, fully equipped. Okay? Now, you have to put into perspective, they're building what I've been saying is Western anime. Now, will they go on and reanimate the newer episodes, make it look like that? No, I don't think Toei will allow them to do that. I think we would still get to continue to see the Dragon Ball animated the way it is. The older episodes, will we see them on there? I think so. I think they will pull to get the rights of that and many other animes. That would increase Netflix fold as far as becoming one of the largest in this business for animation. Now, scenario 2 would be Amazon Prime gaining all of this. Amazon already has a studio production facility. They already make their own movies with several other studios behind them. They have the access to broadcast these shows even live. They have a capability to put these live on there versus Netflix. That's the only drawback is Netflix versus Amazon. I don't know if Netflix has the capability to carry some of these live, which basically like Crunchyroll would get them live as soon as it airs in the Japanese version. But that's for another day to discuss, because basically, there's going to be a lot of changes, and I know it's coming. And now with Amazon Prime, you have so much to watch on there. And the thing about it is that Amazon and Hulu, they have different sites. They have access to HBO, Cinemax, Shudder, BritBox. Well, Hulu doesn't have BritBox, but they have many different sites that you could pay additional on theirs and watch. They also have plenty of anime on there. Not a large grouping, whereas they're something like Crunchyroll or Funimation's at this point, but they have a good amount to keep viewers there. I've watched some stuff. A lot of it's a Japanese dub, and if you guys haven't noticed that, step on over if you have an Amazon Prime account. Yeah, most of it is in the not dub. I mean the subtitle. Let me refresh myself there. I'm sorry. It's the subtitled versions of most of these animes. For example, like Gate. They only have the Japanese version of it. I know Hulu has the dub and Japanese version of it, on vice versa. Now, why wouldn't I think Hulu try to grab this for themselves? It's because basically they are mostly owned by Disney. I don't think Disney would be interested in this at this time period. They'll probably put a bid in, but it'll be interesting if they did, if this scenario happens. Now, scenario 3, which is also a possibility, is that Netflix and Amazon split down the middle animes. Some animes will go over to Netflix, some will go to Amazon, which basically would give a sort of a balance point with Toei Animation. Would it build a bigger and better anime? I think so. I think this is something Toei needs to think about, and to think about strongly. Because right now you have a company that's not doing you well at this time period. There's been a lot of complaints, and there's going to be people out there who's going to say, well, it's that toxic, that toxic fandom, which basically has been doing this, and they're going to continue to do this until they destroy everything that is set for. Well, let me tell you something. Those people that complain about toxic fandoms, they're the problems with the industry today, whether it's anime, comic books. We criticize our animes, and these companies do listen to us. Well, they did at one point, and Toei still does somewhat. If you remember, Toei had released a version of the some of the movies from the Dragon Ball Z saga, and they edited certain things out, and the fans did not like that, so basically they offered refunds. See, that's the way you run a company. If you do something wrong in the product that you make, and if your fans don't like it, you got to treat your fans right. Not chastise them, not tell them if you don't like it, then don't buy it. Basically, telling them to go to hell. You treat your fans, your best customer. Those are your core. Those anime fans are core. Lately there have been people who have been infiltrating all our fandoms. This is a small group of people, and basically they have been trying to destroy these fandoms from the inside out. And before you say, no, this is not happening, look around you. Look what has happened. Look what is happening here. Look what is happening in the comics industry, the science fiction industry, the Doctor Who, Star Trek. Look at all this. How many of these series are failing at this point? Look at comic books. Comic books are almost in the grave. Okay? You have many comic book stores closing down. Comic book stores used to be a place, a refuge, per se, where we could talk, discuss, find the things we like, find friends. Sometimes they'll be enemies, but we still respect them, and we'll still talk to them. We'll have our disagreements, but we can come back and talk about it every time. You know, yes, they turn into little heated battles, you know, especially, you know, like our Star Trek conversations and stuff like that. Who's better, Kirk or Picard? But nevertheless, you know, it's the same thing with anime. Anime, you know, who's the better? Is it the Dragon Ball series? Is it the Ghost in the Shell series? You know, there's so many things that we discuss. But now you have those who have infiltrated our fandoms and don't care about them. They don't even know what these shows are, and they claim themselves that they know a lot. They've thrown themselves into our fandom news, creating their own fandom news, and trying to destroy us out, and trying to destroy every actor that disagrees with them, actor, actress, you know, trying to destroy it all the way and burn us, scorched earth theory. But finalizing on this, Toei, if you're listening out there, which, you know, who knows? I'm not speaking in Japanese on them, and I wish I knew a little bit more in Japanese to say it in Japanese. But let's say if they are listening, I think they should start to look to protect their product. And there are plenty of companies out there that are so willing. And not only Amazon and Netflix. I just took the two biggest. There are other companies like Tubi TV and a couple of others that will gladly give their right leg, you know, just to get one or two series off Toei to add on to the many other videos that animes that they have on their systems. Because anime is here to stay. And I'll tell you this, you know, they picked the wrong horse right now. Let me refresh myself. They picked the wrong tiger to pull the tail on, because, you know, they've messed with everybody else. But this time, this fight is coming back to bite them in the butt, because, you know, anime started out underground in this country. If darn straight we have to go back underground again, we will do it. We will go back to Chinatown and get our DVDs there. You know, we will go back to that, and we will go looking for them on the net if need be, because many of us watch them on the net, on there. And before the net, we used to go to Chinatown to buy the box sets of these animes when new episodes came out. So, comment below. Tell me what you think of this whole situation. Don't forget, you can comment on minds.com and gab.com. So, don't forget, hit the like and subscribe. Oh, yeah, before I forget, don't forget, we are at teespring.com. We have new t-shirts on there from our new coming show, American Asylum. They're very nice, very colors, schemes, and our older shirts are still there as well, our Moment in Asylum. So we're going to have about 2 more today. So hang in there. We'll see you a little bit later today. Bye-bye.